No, no, no,
Today I wanted to break down some of my own sparring, but I was using a specific style in the sparring that I think is greatly beneficial to KSI's boxing. Because in the clip we've seen before, we see that consistent bouncing movement, almost like he's doing jumping jacks. I don't know what that was about, but I'm just here to point out some things I think KSI should have done with this fight with Tommy Fury. So as you see, I'm already mimicking the bouncing movement. I throw two probe jabs, and now see how I touch his lead hand? All I'm doing is finding center lines by touching his lead hand. Cross hook cross, same thing again. After I finish my combination, I try to throw a lead hook to catch him turning. I proceed to hit him with a 1-2-3, pendulum step to maintain distance, 1-2-5-3-4. And then I keep following him with two probe jabs to maintain the distance, followed by a pendulum step. As I pendulum step, I make sure to bounce in and out of his lead leg. So I land a 3 from outside his guard, 2, and then 1 right down the middle. Continue with my pendulum step. 1-2, he parries that, pendulum step out, 3-2 on the new ankle. See how the pendulum step tricks him? He doesn't actually know how close or how far I am at one given time. I start mimicking KSI as a little joke or whatever. But then I'm back to it, back to pendulum stepping. I check the angle, 4-3-2, 2 right down the center, 3 to open his guard. Still bouncing, 2 right down the center because it's still open. I pull straight back, and he does kind of touch my chin. I check my head, I parry that, hook to check his lead hand. Now we're on an angle. I pull out of that, change levels to get on an angle. Check his lead hand again, check his lead hand again. All I'm doing is checking for an angle. Pull straight back, he hits me with the cross of the body. I switch to southpaw, and then I land some punches, but his lead hand gets in the way of the last one. So now I get to movement. As I'm moving, I use the momentum of my pendulum step to slightly bounce out of range, bobbing my head on an angle. I pivot to the outside even more, using my lead hand to check the distance, and then firing a right hand down the middle, rolling under, pulling my shoulder, and coming back with another straight right. I made him with the center for a second with my high guard up to parry, catch, slow down my movement. Then I go back to my pendulum step, fire a 1-2, head slots to make him move, and then a 1-2-1-2. After my 1-2-1-2, I continue to close distance, gallop stepping forward, throw a 1-2-3. Notice he falls in, hit the 4 to the body, but he's able to frame and push me back. Move off from the edge, meet him again with my high guard, parried away his cross, and then throw a short hook over top, and then landed a 1-4-3, 5 to the body as we both turn. I then throw a 1-2, and then cover myself as I turn. I found a head slot slipping outside of his rear hand, and then throw a cross from underneath, and then throw a jab after. He shows some good head movement, but I show it right back. High guard as I'm getting a little tired from pendulum stepping. It's a very energetic style. I will give KSI credit. He can do that style pretty consistently for a lot of rounds. However, his style is very one-dimensional. He lands the cross to the body, which is talking. He falls in right there. I tell him don't fall in because that's an uppercut waiting to happen. I land the 4 to the body, and then I frame off him. He lands a good straight right to the body. I'm slowing down here, so I start going Philly shell and trying to walk him down to get some stamina back. He slips that straight right hand. I throw a lead hook to check the distance. As you see now, he's walking backwards because I control that space. He lands a good hook to the head after that rear uppercut to the body. I decide, well, let me stop just standing in front of him now and start using my footwork again, because I know I can beat him if I use footwork. So I get back to using footwork, bouncing and pendulum stepping. But see, I don't just pendulum step in straight lines. I actually move in 3 dimensions around my opponent. We both throw a jab here. I L step, changing directions, pendulum, and then I check his lead hand and take a check step the other way, slipping offline, 3-2-3, and then 2 L steps to get on angle again. Once I get him on the new angle, I catch him turning, throwing my jab, lining him up for my right hand, and then pulling right back out on my pendulum step. Planting, finding the center line, roll right under it, check hook, turning, back the other direction. Now I'm really confident, feeling myself. Hands are down, moving my head, throwing bait punches. We stop and talk, and this is just not like serious match, it's just technical sparring, for being honest. So I keep my movement up. He catches my head movement as I got lazy with it. So I switch into high guard and southpaw, try to throw over the top, parry his straight left, parry his jab, throw a hook, and then a cross to the body. And then I decide to exit the exchange. Resetting the exchange now, I enter with a fake jab, try to throw the right hand, but I just use my head slots to avoid him. High guard up. My footwork has slowed down a lot this round, but now I'm just gonna try to walk him down a little bit. High guard. He feints with the lead hand, throws a hook. I try to do the same thing, but come with a cross. He turns and gets a right hand off the turn. I parry, walk him down with a high guard. Parry that. Now I switch to southpaw. Now we're both southpaw. He switched to orthodox for a second, but we're both in southpaw. I'm letting him move his head. 1, 2, 3, 4. See, now let's keep in mind that uppercut, that rear uppercut I could have landed. 1, 3, we both land. I try to feint him. Walk back in. 1, 1, 2. I was trying to come underneath with the lead uppercut. This is during the previous exchange that he has a tendency to fall in. So I waited for the next time for him to do that. And then I timed the uppercut, bounced out again, come back with a 1, 2, 3, 1, 4. He grazes my head. I try to move my head on a slot. 1, 2, 1. Now I'm just walking him down in the Philly shell, moving my head on the slots. The slots getting him to reach, making him try to reach. 1, 2. Catch that. 1, 2. Uppercut again. Hook after the uppercut, and I switch stances. And I'm still using my head slots. Now I'm trying to get a new rhythm for head movement since I'm not using my feet as much, and it's working. I throw a jab as he rolls his shoulder and overextends with his rear uppercut. I then frame with my rear hand, land a 5, throw it again. As his head comes up, I knock him back with a straight right hand. Now I know the round's ending, so I just have to not get hit for like the last 5 seconds. So I'm just putting my hands down, head movement, slip right outside, run around him. Just like playing games, hands still down, head movement, time.